so much for that intro. Thank you, Taria, for having me as a part of the Move to Motivate conference. I love the title. I love the topic. I love everything that it stands for and represents. And I am going to maximize the brief amount of time that I get to serve you before I run off to my own event. I am in the middle of a 3-day speakers conference literally right now, which is probably why you see a lamp and a chair and a bed behind me, because I'm in my hotel room. But when Taria asked me to come and serve you this morning, first of all, Taria never gets a no from me because I just love her and adore her that much. And I love her and adore her that much because of what she stands for and what she represents as a business owner, a savvy business owner, a business owner who has an abundance mindset and understands that there is enough for all of us, not to get a slice of the pie, but to get a whole pie. Y'all type that in the chat. I want the whole pie. Yes, you get to have your own pie, not just a slice of, and you get to choose what flavor you want. Amen. So I want you to repeat this after me as we jump right into this juicy topic about unleashing the transformative power of your voice. I want you to repeat this mantra. And it's not just words, because sometimes we hear people and they'll say a mantra, they throw it out, and we just take it as kind of, it doesn't hold any weight. The words that you use have power. If you state it in a place of power, if you state it in a space where you are standing in position or sitting in position and ready to execute, those words can literally become the blueprint to the manifestation of all of the things you say you want. So when I say I want you to repeat these words, it's not just because it's some cute words that Dr. Cheryl Wood threw together. No, this is because I want you to state it in a way that you know in your heart of hearts, you know deep down in your soul that it is truth. And for some of you, hearing it out loud and hearing yourself repeat it out loud is going to be the thing that's going to allow you to take it seriously starting this moment. Because maybe before you heard it before, but you didn't own it. It's time to own these words. Are y'all ready? Here we go. Repeat after me. My voice will shift the direction of people's lives. My voice will create legacy that will never be forgotten. My voice will inspire nations of people from all backgrounds and walks of life. My voice will heal, empower, inspire, and motivate. Somebody's life will be on pause until I speak up and use my voice. Are you feeling this? My voice has transformative power. My voice is too important for me to ever stay quiet. My God. I don't know if you were ready at 9 o'clock in the morning, but yeah, that's how we're kicking off this conference, because we need you to be motivated. The word motivate means stimulate interest in. I need your interest in speaking up and sharing your voice and telling the world what you know, to be stimulated to a place where you ain't just talking about it anymore. You're not just journaling that you want to share your voice. You're not just thinking about it or watching everybody else do it. You're not just putting it on another vision board. You are stepping into action, because here's what I know without a shadow of a doubt from my own truth and testimony. Knowledge is power, but knowledge executed is your superpower. Type that in the chat. I'm ready to execute my superpower. I'm ready to execute my superpower, which means there's some stuff you got to do. You can't just know. You can't just know that your voice has power. That's a start. That's a beautiful place to start. But the question becomes, and then what? And I'm here for your and then what? To give you some things, little, small, simple things that you can start implementing almost immediately if you have the desire to make your voice matter in the world, to make your voice count in other people's lives, because that's what true legacy is about. We talk about that word all the time, legacy creation. And if you look up the word legacy, legacy is something that you pass down. Every single one of us has the ability to pass down knowledge that shifts the trajectory of other people's lives. Each and every one of us knows something through some of the stuff we've been through in life that will allow us to impart to someone else, maybe someone millions of miles across the world, the other side of the world, but it will impart to them, number one, that they are not alone in whatever pain they are currently experiencing in their life. And number two, it will impart to them that whatever they're going through right now, it will not always be that way. There is a song I love, and I try to sing it a little bit sometimes, but it's an old song. I think it's from like 1970 something. I mean, that's when I was born, so I probably shouldn't say, oh, but it's from back in the day. We'll say that. It's from back in the day. And it's by George Benson, and it says, everything must change. I don't know if you ever heard the song. Everything must change. Nothing stays the same. And I love the song and I love the words because it reminds us that even in the thick of our most traumatic life challenges and obstacles and setbacks and the stuff that knocks us to our knees, that it will never stay the same. You have the ability to remind someone in today's world, in today's climate, with everything that's happening, with all of the trauma that people are experiencing, that we witness every day, whether it's on media, television, news, whatever it might be, or personal stories that we hear of, you have the power to remind someone who feels hopeless and helpless that it can change. And then you have the amazing power to help them get on a path to creating that change simply by sharing what you already know. So how? How, Dr. Wood? How do I start unleashing my voice? Like, I like that word, right? Unleash. Like, let it free. Put it out into the world so other people can experience transformative power. I'm going to give you some strategies. Are y'all ready? Number one, how do I unleash the transformative power of my voice? Number one, acknowledge the value in your mess. Some of you are so busy running from your past when you should be running towards all the lessons that you learned from your past mistakes, your mess ups, your failures, your breakups, all the stuff that you thought was going to destroy you. And yet you are still here. You are still standing. Don't tell me that you don't have some lessons that are connected to your mess. There's nothing that you can do to convince me that there's not value in all the stuff that you thought was going to break you, but it turned out that it didn't break you. All it did was bruise you and it made you stronger. So there are some things that you've been through that maybe you're still sitting on. But I need you to know someone somewhere in the world is waiting on that very thing that you're sitting on, the very thing that you're keeping close to your heart, the very thing that you won't share because you're embarrassed by it. It is the very thing that will free someone else. And in the process, the beautiful thing about that is in the process of freeing someone else by sharing your mess, you also free you. Oh, it doesn't get better than that. You get healing by sharing what you already have been through. Stop running from the mess. Ask yourself these questions. Number one, what in my life has bruised me but didn't break me? What has bruised me? Like, I have the battle scars to show it. My arms are still bruised. I have that knot on my leg from when I fell back in XYZ year from the thing that I thought was going to break me, but it didn't break me. It just left a bruise. But I'm still standing. I'm a warrior. I'm a conqueror. I'm a victor. I am still standing. And therefore, there's something that you have to teach. There's something that you know that someone else doesn't know yet because they are currently in the pain that you've already been through, come through, and now you're on the other side of it and you are thriving. You know what that means? You know what that makes you? That makes you someone who is very similar to a physician. It means you have the prescription for somebody else's pain. And if you have the prescription for someone else's pain and you choose not to write the prescription, well, what does that say about you? See, we're talking about making our lives bigger than ourselves. That is the only thing that would compel any of us to unleash our mess, to speak about our mess and our stuff that we'd rather keep in the closet. No, it's time to unleash those things, share those things, so that our lives become bigger than us. Type that in the chat. My life is bigger than me. My life is bigger than me. And I say that to myself every day that I take a stage or I come to an event like I'm doing for these past 3 days, or go to someone else's event, or come to a webinar or something like this that Taria is hosting, or whatever it might be. Every day I wake up with a spirit that says, Cheryl, today your life is meant to be bigger than you. And so that means you get up off of your excuses about why you don't want to talk about that thing, why you don't want to tell nobody, why you don't want nobody to know, why you feel inadequate, or all the excuses that we create about why we're not sharing what we already know. We are no longer in a season of excuses. We are in a season of execution. We are in a season of motivating others, of inspiring, empowering, reminding other people that you ain't done yet. Isn't there so much power in that? In being able to articulate to someone else, inspire, encourage, uplift someone else to say, you're not done yet. I know it seems like this is tough. I know it feels like you're never going to come out of this, but everything must change. And this too shall pass. And you will be stronger because of it. We've heard the expression, we've heard the saying, and many of us have lived the expression that what don't kill you only makes you stronger. How many of you know that that is truth? The things that were meant to destroy or break you have only made you stronger. Number 2, I want you to ask yourself, this is the same question under number 1. We're under bullet number 1, but question number 2. So what was question number 1, y'all? What is it in my life that bruised me but didn't break me? Number 2, what is it that I'm still standing from? And what did it teach me that I can share with someone else? What's the thing that I'm now on the other side of it? I'm still standing even after I went through that thing. And now I can teach someone else something so that they can make it through their pain. Number 3, what wouldn't I know if I hadn't gone through that mess or that trauma? Just those reflective questions alone will put you in a meditative space where you'll start to reflect on just how powerful you are, how powerful your voice is, how much knowledge you're sitting on that somebody else is waiting on. Y'all got that? Number 1, acknowledge the value in your mess and reflect on those 3 questions. Here's number 2. Structure your life lessons into how-to content that someone else can consume. Structure your life lessons into how-to content that someone else can consume. We are in an information society. Someone somewhere in the world is praying that you will show up today and share what you know about some specific pain that you've already overcome. And they will stay stuck. They will stay held hostage to where they are in the pain, feeling like there's no way out until you show up. And let me be clear. It is not until Dr. Cheryl shows up. It's not until Taria Vision Avant shows up. It's not until Les Brown or Lisa Nichols or anybody else shows up. It is until you show up, because there is a specific segment of the population on this planet who you are assigned to. And they will only receive their transformation once you speak up and they hear your voice, your perspective, how you persevered, how you got knocked down and bounced back, how you exhibited that spirit of resilience. They will not hear anyone else's voice. It will only be your voice. Let me give a quick example about what I mean. So have you ever had someone to tell you something and they say it over and over again? And maybe it's someone close to you. And they say this thing, and my husband does this all the time. He's like, well, I told you that years ago, right? And I'll hear him say it over and over and over, whatever the thing is. And then I go into a space, and it might be with a complete stranger, and it might be someone I hear speak on a webinar or a conference or a live event, whatever the thing is. And I'll hear them say the exact same words. And all of a sudden, I'm acting like I have never heard that told to me ever before. Is it just me? Has anybody ever heard something, had something like that happen to them? And you heard a stranger say it. And when they said it, you were like, oh my God, woo, I needed that. That's what I came here for. Girl, I done told you that same thing 52 times. I have clients like that. I done told them that 52 times, but they could not hear it from my voice. They could only receive it when they heard it from the voice that was assigned to them. So it doesn't matter who else says it, doesn't matter how many times they share it, doesn't matter. Their voice is only assigned to you. That's it. Their transformation is only going to come when you speak up. So when you honor that you have a divine assignment in this world, y'all type divine assignment in the chat. In fact, let's make it personal. I am on divine assignment. Let's do that, right? Let's make everything we say today personal so that it fits our lives, so that we have some action and accountability when we leave this event. I am on divine assignment. And when you know you're on divine assignment to reach the people who are only going to transform when they hear your words, your voice, the power of what you say in your words, then you show up different every single day. You show up with intention. You show up and you start implementing strategy. You show up when you don't feel like it. Why? Because your life is bigger than you. And divine assignment means you can never go missing in action on that thing. I don't know if y'all were ready at 9:21. You can't go MIA on divine assignment. You don't take vacation from divine assignment, because even when I'm on vacation, I'm on divine assignment, because it might be the person who's bringing me my drink to the side of the pool that needs to hear what I have to say. It might be the person who's coming in and cleaning my room. It might be the valet person who's bringing my car around. I don't know who it's for, but I know I don't ever go on vacation from unleashing the transformative power of my voice. Because when you say, God, I'm on divine assignment, that is you accepting an assignment, accepting a mission, accepting a calling on your life that says, I have too much good stuff to share to ever stay quiet in this world. And it doesn't matter who else is speaking about the thing. Doesn't matter how many people you see on Instagram. Doesn't matter how many followers they have. There should be something inside of you. There should be a fire inside of you that is lit every day that you open your eyes and you get to live and breathe and make your life bigger than you, that prevents you from ever staying quiet. The only time you stay quiet is when you have not connected the dots between what you know and the reality that someone is praying for what you know. There are 5 primary ways that we are able to share our life lessons as how-to content for other people to consume. Let me give you those 5 primary ways that you can unleash the transformative power of your voice. All right, you guys ready? Number 1, through speaking. Number 2, through things that people read, because that's still your voice. Number 3, through what they're hearing and seeing. Number 4, through mastering what you bring to the table. And number 5, through experiencing what you know. So let me give you a little bit about each one of those, and I'll give you my final point and we'll wrap up. So when I talk about speaking can be done in a variety of ways. So when I'm talking about speaking, I'm thinking seeing, someone seeing me through a platform such as this. So if I say, well, people are able to get my how-to content by seeing what I do, the question becomes, well, how do I make sure that they see me? And seeing is so important because it's connected to your level of visibility. If people can't find you, they can't learn from you. They can't grow with you. You cannot join them in a partnership to help them become who they're meant to be. You cannot join them in a partnership to help them release whatever pain they're going through and be ushered into a new reality. So you have to be visible. Type this in your notes, write this in your notes, put this in the chat. Visibility will always trump ability. Visibility will always trump ability. So you're sitting on all this amazing how-to content through your personal life experiences, through the knowledge that you've amassed over however many years you've been on this planet. But if you are not visible, then you are helping no one, because they can't even get to your good stuff. They can't even get to the how-to content so that they can put themselves on a transformative path. So are you doing Facebook Lives consistently? Are you doing your IGTV and videos consistently? Are you doing video trainings or something where people can lay their eyes on you and learn from you? And all you're doing is taking all the lessons you've learned from the stuff that life has thrown you, and you're turning it into transformative how-to content. How do I get back up after I've experienced divorce? How do I make my finances better and get my financial house in order? How do I release obesity, release weight, and get healthy and well? How do I, you guys get that? How do I write my book and generate $10,000 a month, which is what Taria specializes in? How do I become highly booked and highly paid to speak and share what I already know, which is what Dr. Cheryl Wood teaches? So every single one of us has knowledge that we're sitting on. We just have to make the decision that we're going to put it into how-to content. And then we have to be intentional, which means you've got to take the time to develop the how-to content so that it gets from out of here into formats that people can actually purchase, invest in, consume, and then transform their lives. So seeing. Number 2 is hearing. People consume how-to content through hearing. Well, how do you allow people to hear your knowledge and what you know and your lessons learned? Well, you do that through podcasts. You do that through Clubhouse. You do that through audio recordings. Some people still do MP3s. Any way where people are able to audibly listen to your voice and receive that motivation that stirs up their interest in something better than what they're currently experiencing is what you want to consistently provide in the marketplace. Let's move to number 3. We talk about reading. Reading is still a way for you to use your voice for people to get a hold of what you know. How do we do that? We write books. We write ebooks. We write blog posts. You write magazine articles and expert articles, anything that allows you to take your voice and transition it into the written word is going to touch lives. And sometimes people prefer to consume their content through the written word. So you can't do one or the other. The question is, how do I get to a space where I'm doing all 5 of these things at some level, on some capacity? So we're seeing, we're hearing, we're reading. Number 4, people want to master what you know. Master, and people want to experience you. So when I talk about experiencing, that's when people come into an environment with you after they've watched all your videos, after they've read the books, after they've watched you on the Facebook Lives and the IGTV and listened to the podcast. They've done those things, and now they're like, no, I want to be in your space. No, I got to be in that room. The energy here at this event, the Global Speakers University Summit, is magnetic. It is fire. That's all I keep hearing from people. Oh my God, the energy, the energy, the energy. And you sometimes need to be in that environment. Your people that you're called to serve, who are called to hear your voice and your voice only, need that energy, which means they need to come offline and they need to come into a live environment. It might be a conference. It might be a summit. It might be a brunch or a lunch. Anything where it is live and they're able to touch and get access to you up close and personal is an amazing way for you to share your how-to content. And last but not least, mastering. And mastering is those people who say, look, I want to know everything you know, because you are the reflection of what I want to do in the world. So how do we master? Well, we take our how-to content and we turn it into masterminds. We turn it into exclusive retreats and intimate things that allow people to have direct access to you, where it's either one-to-one or one to a very limited group. So again, it could be masterminds. It might be an exclusive retreat. It might be VIP days. It might be individual coaching. Your job is to figure out, how do I do at least one thing in all 5 of these categories: seeing, hearing, reading, experiencing, and mastering. And last but not least, number 3, how do I unleash the transformative power of my voice? Number 3, be intentional about maximizing the impact of your voice through both speaking and through writing. And do not shrink back because you think you are not enough. Let me tell you this, and I want you to put this on rinse and repeat and replay over and over and over again. I am enough. I am worthy. I am capable, just as I am. There is someone's transformation that is dependent upon me showing up and speaking what I know and writing about what I know. Because without me, without my voice, they will stay held hostage to mediocrity. And we ain't got time for that. Type that in the chat, y'all, as I start to wrap up. We ain't got time for that. My life is barely recognizable today because I made a decision 12 years ago that my voice mattered and that I wanted to make it count because legacy has to start today. Why? Because we don't know that tomorrow is coming for us. I don't know that my tomorrow is going to come. So I've got to do it today. So the same way I started on my journey 12 years ago, even though I didn't exactly know what I was doing, I didn't have the full blueprint, I didn't have a roadmap of every single step, I focused less on how and more on why. Why, Cheryl, do you want to share your voice? Why do you want to get out and teach people what you know? Why do you want to dig up your mess and share it with complete strangers? Why? Why is what you ask? The why is because it will be directly connected to my legacy and how my unique fingerprint is remembered in the world. If legacy matters to you, if impact matters to you, if how your fingerprint is remembered in the world matters to you, it is time for you to speak up. It is time for you to get into a space where you figure out, how do I master this thing called sharing my voice? Not just because I want to be talking. There's a big difference between talking and speaking. When I'm speaking, I am speaking into your soul. I'm speaking into your dreams. I am speaking into you to remind you that you have what it takes and you got the goods. Type that in the chat. I got the goods. And sometimes you just need to be reminded. Sometimes I'm coming into a space because I need to teach people how to create the framework of sharing their story or sharing their life lessons or the framework of how to be masterful on stage, whether it's virtual or live, or the framework of how to move a room, or the framework of how to get booked globally. Whatever the thing is, the most important part is that you got to get started. Les Brown says it all the time. You don't have to be great to get started, but you got to get started to be great. Do not leave it up to the people who are already speaking. Don't leave it up to them. Don't leave it up to us to try to fill your shoes. Oh, my God. Do not leave it up to us to try to fill the void that is only meant to be filled with your voice. Only you can fill those shoes. Only you can be the true transformation for the people who are only called to your voice. And the moment you don't show up, you force other people to try to fill your shoes, and they will never be able to do it. So I'll ask you, like Dr. George Fraser often says, what's up with you? Are you going to make a decision starting today in this moment at 9:33 a.m. that what I have to say is much too important for me to ever stay quiet? And I will learn what I need to learn, and I will get into spaces and I will master the art of unleashing the transformative power of my voice. Why? Because someone is waiting on me. Someone is waiting on me to show up. Someone is waiting on me to write the prescription, and I refuse to leave people in pain. So in closing, I dare you. Yeah, I dare you. I dare you to show up and face your fears about speaking up. I dare you to dig up your past and all the stuff you tried to run from and hide and openly share it so that somebody else is able to press through the things that you thought were going to break you. I dare you. I dare you to show up and show out and allow yourself to be on divine assignment without apologies and without regrets. I dare you to play full out in this thing called life and to create your legacy today, because tomorrow isn't promised to any of us. Thank you for having me. Stay connected with me at Cheryl Empowers. Check me out on the web at CherylEmpowers.com. And I'm turning it back over to my girl, my sister, my partner in crime. All right, we haven't done no crimes yet. Taria, I love you. Thank you for having me.